Oh man, I forgot one thing. Yeah, going it. All right, party people. This your man Griff. Sorry about that, y'all. I just had to do some quick research and get some things together, and then I forgot to set something up here on YouTube. YouTube got all these little things they want you to do, so I gotta do that real quick. All right, come on. Let me. I gotta turn on the ads. Turn on the ads for YouTube. All right. And then what else? It's all this stuff you got to turn on in the back so YouTube will know. And I'll show y'all. I don't have no problem showing you. So yeah, so in the background, like for it to go out and find stuff, tell it to use these keywords to sort of push it out there and everything. I'm gonna add something here. Notary and instructions. Yep. All right. And got that. That is no altered stuff. Right. Not for kids. Playlists. Fritter Friday. You have to do all of that. Got my title. Got that. Already did the monetization stuff for them. So I have to do all of that. And yeah. So what's going on, people? What's going on with y'all? Where y'all coming from? I'm here in Virginia. Tell me where y'all coming from. I'm here in great old Virginia. Um, and for the Friday. So we're gonna have a nice little conversation about these confusing notary instructions. I think y'all will find it interesting and learn some stuff. And I got a story or two to tell y'all also and everything. So I'm just typing this here. Notary instructions. All right. Because I'm able to broadcast horizontal and vertical. So so it sets up two separate broadcasts and everything. So I got to go in here and make all those changes for each one and stuff. So I think we are good to go. Um, Getting some this, that, and the other. And I think I am good there. So what's going on, people? Oh, you cold up there in Maine? Yeah. It's getting cold here again. It was snowing or little flurries a couple of hours ago. So that's ended, but it's been cold. My water faucet dripper thingy is still working really, really well. So I'm happy about that. Pipes hasn't frozen or anything. What's going on, Caprentice? My man, he out there in good old California. And all right, so I think I'm set here with YouTube. I think I got everything squared away. All right. So we good to go now. All right. So what we're going to talk about, people, is these notary instructions. So let me share with y'all a quick story, something that happened to me this week. I had a closing where the husband and wife, hold up, something don't look right. Hold on. I just noticed something. Hold on. There we go. I was like, wait a minute. There we go. It had me flipped around. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, something ain't right. Something ain't right. All right. StreamYard did an update. The software program that I use for my live stream through YouTube did an update, and I just happened to realize, I'm like, something ain't looking right. All right, so we squared away now. So this week I had a closing. Um, and this will happen sometimes. You'll have a closing with a couple that's not on one accord. Um, and that became a little bit of a problem because they, one person wanted to sign the documents, the other person didn't. And because of that, it created a whole mess of stuff. A whole little mess of stuff going down. And I was like, okay. And I was just sort of stuck in the middle. And excuse me, y'all, I'm just making sure my camera is where it needs to be. Okay, there we go. Okay. Again, StreamYard did an update and I didn't have time to go through. So y'all know how I am. I get OCD about that kind of stuff. So yeah, we straight. Glasses crooked, gotta get some new glasses. But one spouse wanted to sign, the other spouse didn't, and it just got crazy. So the signing didn't happen when I was gonna meet with them. Then they said, okay, we good to go. I go back to meet with them, and then come to find out the young lady had a name change. Um, because she just became a US citizen and her name changed. So her ID is not matching the documents. So we still couldn't do it. And those things happen from time to time. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take them to get it fixed, but hopefully they'll get it done, in the next week or so or less. But these kind of things happen, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to go with the flow. Now, here's the thing that happened to me today. I did a closing and I get to the house early and I'm talking to a buddy of mine on the phone. And I say, all right, man, I got to go in here and knock this out. Now, while I'm talking to him, I see this person pull up to the house, get out, and they're bringing some equipment into the house. Didn't think too much of it. I see, okay, going back and forth, getting this bag, cameras, tripods. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I get in there and come to find out it was a TV, it was a little production crew. It was a film production crew, a little small, it wasn't a huge one. And they were going to videotape the closing. Hear me out now. I get there to the closing and the real estate agent decided they wanted the closing videotaped. And I guess this is something they do on a regular. The problem is that I didn't know this. So I'm coming in there trying to get my part done. I don't know that this is what they're doing. I have no clue whatsoever. I'm sitting here like, okay, what the heck is going on? I get through the closing, and now when I say videotape, I'm talking about while you're doing the closing, the whole closing is being videotaped. You're doing the oath or not doing the oath, but you're doing the oath, you're signing, stamping, every single thing you're doing is being videotaped. However long you take, the whole thing is being videotaped. I'm sitting here like, and my demeanor was probably not the best at the moment because I'm sitting here like I got another closing to get to. Y'all, I'm being held up, and I'm like, okay. And then I had to finally, I calm myself down and say, okay, Griff, get in the right mindset and let's attack this thing and get it done. And I declined the closing today because in Texas they require it to be okay. That's the Texas HELOC, if I'm not mistaken. Even when I secured the office, the agent wanted it to be at the person house. Yeah, you gotta be for that Texas HELOC, and I did videos on that. You gotta do it at a little thing. Yeah, it has specific guidelines on that. Yeah, you have to do it that way. So I was completely thrown off by this today, and I got through it, but it was tough. Now, here's what made it even worse. I'm I get there and the house has no power. No power whatsoever. It's cold. I left my big jacket in the car because I'm going inside. I'm thinking, and I was like, oh my goodness. Fortunately, I had my skull cap. So it kept my little bald spot nice and warm. Had my compression shirt on, my long johns. So overall, I was pretty warm, but it was still like a little uncomfortable, and it was just getting darker and darker because it was at 5 o'clock and sunset is 5:30. So of course, next thing you know, it's dark. So let me show y'all. I hope I got it here. This is all we had. Well, we had this, my little light, this little light here, and the cameraman happened to have a floodlight, a small floodlight. That was it. That was it. And I'm sitting there like, what in the world? I said, okay, this is not comfortable whatsoever and everything. So hopefully y'all can see this. This is how the setup. I know it's a little blurry because of the camera, but this was the setup. I was here, camera over there. It was like a couple of cameras videotaping in there, but this was the setup. This is the setup, and I'm sitting there like, wow. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it was nice. It looked really, really good. But when you don't have any power, it's getting dark. You didn't know this was gonna happen, and they're putting you on film. They didn't ask me my permission or nothing. So now I got a decision to make. Do I really, really, really cop an attitude and be like, yo, I ain't doing this. Let's go to a McDonald's or whatever. Or do I push through, get it done? Which one I'm going to do? So, of course, I pushed through, got it done. But I did have a conversation with the signing company afterwards and let them know what was going on because I already knew they didn't know. And the title company probably didn't know. And all the thing that the main thing I was concerned with, what if this was a brand new notary? You brand new in the business and you walk into a closing, it's a purchase, but it doesn't really matter which one, but primarily the kind of fancy stuff happens on a purchase. And you are inundated with a mini camera crew, they're videotaping, all this, that, and the other. And they're sitting here, everybody, you got like 4 or 5 people around, maybe 6 people looking at you do the closing, and they're recording it. They're recording it the whole time. And you got people walking around you, all of that. I was like, wow, okay, this is deep. Right. Somebody, they should have said something ahead of time about this. But as you saw in the picture, they had it set up. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you very much. He funny. He funny. He funny. And I was like, I can't believe this happening. So I was sent there to get the closing done. That's what I did. It was very uncomfortable. There was no seats. It's brand new house, no furniture whatsoever. So I got to stand the whole time. We made it happen. But that's not ideal. That's truly, truly not ideal whatsoever. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because yes, these kind of things happen. It is not fun. And this is the first time I've ever been in a situation like that. I don't know if the real estate agency happens to see the video. Look, I don't mind that kind of stuff. I just think I should have been informed ahead of time. The moment you knew the closing was happening and you planned on doing all of this, should let the notary know and all of that. Yeah. So that was my weird story for today. But so far this month, I'm doing good. About 25 signings that I got. I got one more tomorrow, and then I got the notary certificate training. So I'm looking forward to being with y'all, those who signed up. The information is in the description of this video. The training is awesome. It's going to help you understand notarial certificates and get you from point A to point B and beyond so you can do your job as a notary. That's the whole goal. That's the main thing. And there hasn't been, from my understanding, from my recollection, there hasn't been anybody who's taken my training and for the notary certificate training and completely and actually fully understood it that hasn't gone out there when they had the opportunity and done well. Other things might trip them up, but not the notary certificates. And see, in a situation like that, what I was dealing with, oh yeah, you better make sure you know your notary certificates because you sitting up here getting video. I don't know. Somebody might have me on TV or camera or on on YouTube or wherever. But all I know is I better know how to do my job. And this wasn't about the explaining part. This was about, do you know how to do your job? And you're there. And see, for notaries who tend to not, um, and of course, orders coming in all hours of the night. For okay, for notaries who tend to do the closing, but then go home and do the notarizations later because you don't really understand them. Because see, my question is, what would you have done if you got to a closing and somebody had a mini film crew there videotaping you for publication for marketing purposes? How would you have handled it? Would you just walked out? Would you have stood there and went ahead on and did it? Even if you had this chair, it would have been better if I had some chairs to sit in. But the question is, what would you have done? And again, with this business, you got to be able to think fast on your feet, recognize different situations, and it's like, okay, here's what I need to do. And the main goal, get the closing done, not try to save it. There was nothing to save. It was get my part done. Once I got it done, I was out. I said, deuces. They ignored me for the most part because I know the real estate agent wasn't feeling me too much. Asking, they did ask me to explain, were looking for me to explain. They had to call the title people. Title people got on the phone, did all the explaining, and the title people was like, they really didn't need to at all. So that's it. Oh, and one last story before we get into the notary instructions, because I want to show y'all something. Because this story here, everything I'm saying leads into this for his expectations. Yes, I am looking forward to it, lady. I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to you being in class tomorrow. We're gonna rock and roll. Okay. So people sign up for the class and then they can't show up. But if it's just me and you, we'll just roll with it. All right. So don't worry about if it's just one person or 20 people or whoever. No, more than 10. We're gonna do what we do. Okay. I don't tone down how I train and what I put out there just because of the numbers of people. I'm gonna give you the same intensity no matter what. So lastly, real quick, the couple that I had that they didn't want to sign and all of that. Here's one of the things with the loan officer. The loan officer who had to call him. And the big thing was the wife did not understand what was going on. So at that point, you really can't have a closing because everybody got to be doing this willingly. She wasn't willing to do it. She had questions. There was a language barrier. And when I called a loan officer, he was like, why does she need to understand anything? She's just on the deed. He's on the loan. And I explained everything to him the night before. What he was saying is, since the wife is not on the loan, this has no disrespect to her because she's a woman. It's just the fact that she was not on the loan. And he's a loan officer dealing with the money aspect. And he only deals with the person who is dealing with the money aspect, which in this case was the husband. What do I need to explain to her? He can explain it to her. All she needs to know is that, you just sign on the deed, but everything else was explained. And the loan officer was like, there's nothing for her for me to explain to her. And I was like, well, yeah, I said, when you're right. So this is one of the things that I'm trying to get y'all to understand. The loan officer's like, everything's been explained. What else is there to explain? So when you come in trying to re-explain what the loan officer has already explained, that can cause confusion. Now, did I know that they did that? No, I didn't know he explained anything to this gentleman. That's not a question that I asked. I wouldn't. I'm still not going to ask him like, hey, did the loan? I mean, from the standpoint, like, get in detail. I just say, hey, did you get a chance to go over your documents? Did anybody review them? They say, yeah, because it could have been the title people. It could have been the lender. I don't know. So I was like, all right, bet. So don't think that what you need to understand is that there's other people out here who understand the fact that these people don't need the notary to explain anything to them. So going into the notary instructions, let me share this with y'all. All right. And feel free to ask any questions you got down there. Let's see here. I need to zoom this in a little bit more. Hold on one second, because that is a little tiny. All right. I think this will work. Yeah. All right. So this is notary instruction. This is from signing order. Okay. A company on signing order. Now, the whole point that I want y'all to get here. Okay. Let's look at these instructions. Let's look at what they're saying, because this is where notaries get blacklisted at. So it says communications, email only if you have questions about the documents. Do not call unless you are at the signing and experiencing an issue. So that means you should not be calling them if you're not at the signing. So if you're at the signing and experiencing an issue, then you call them. Other than that, email them. Should an issue arise outside of normal business hours, all of that, do not call to ask if you can ship the documents, meaning basically they'll let you know when you can ship. Documents are reviewed within a couple of hours. Scheduling confirmation, confirmed this, that, and the other. If you do not call or text within the time frame, you may be removed from the signing. There are notaries out here who actually will not confirm with the signers until they get the documents. So if you get booked a week or two ahead of time, there are notaries who will not actually confirm with the signers until that notary get the documents. And you know how late documents can be. And that's not good. For TBD signings, contact the signers to schedule. Do not print the documents until a time is confirmed. Okay. Document handling. Documents are date sensitive and must be signed on a scheduled day. Always get a copy of the signer's ID and upload. It's telling you what it wants you to do. So how many of y'all, and put a 1 in the chat, that you've been trained not to take pictures of the signer's ID? Or at least heard of that, whether you've been trained that way, but you heard people talking about, I don't do pictures of the signer's ID. Well, what if they don't have a copier? What if you tell them, oh, provide a copy, but they forget? What then? What are you going to do? You got instructions saying get a copy of the signer's ID and upload it. Check if the spouse is required to sign. Scan and upload all documents to signing order in the exact order they were received. So all of this stuff that they talk about in the notary training courses of switch out the documents and pull the 7 critical documents to the front and put the 18 non-critical documents to the back, and then put the stuff that you really just don't like onto the side. No, they want it back in the same order. Do not take out any pages. Don't take other pages. Don't take instructional pages and things of that nature out. For as like the tax instruction pages. Don't take those out. Leave those in there. Verify that all notary box contain the correct date for the signers. This here talks about the printing. It says here, I thought you said 2 seconds. It said, do not ship documents until you receive approval from them. Documents must be shipped same day or the very next morning. Documents must be returned in the order they were received. Print 2 single-sided. 1 for the signing and returning, and then 1 leave with the borrower. Thank you very much there, Kelly, for hopping on in the training. What day you plan on doing that? Okay, that'll be tomorrow. Cool. We got 3 people for tomorrow. Appreciate you. Documents must be printed according to PDF size. Do not shrink or enlarge. In other words, print them letter and legal. It said that doesn't make any sense. Leave the documents in order. Right. Because some people are being taught, some of these trainers are training people to pull out the three or what they call the seven critical documents, like the deed, the note, the closing disclosure, and some other stuff. And it's like pull those out and have those done first. Okay, technically you can do that. Okay, let me come back to y'all for a second. Listen here. Technically, you can do that. The question is, will you remember to put them back, and what are you going to do to mark the documents so you'll know where to put them back at? What you do in the closing is one thing, but they note what they're saying. Return them in the order that you got them. That becomes the problem. You're not returning them in the order that you got them. If you're not doing that, now you're opening yourself up for some blacklisting, for them to say, you know what, we don't want to mess with you because you can't follow instructions. That's simply what it's saying. And then it talks about the payment terms and all of that. Okay. And this is with Phoenix Notary. All right. And then our clients strong. If the signers give you any extra docs, please accept them. If the property is in North Carolina, do this. Please make sure Notary does not drop signed documents at Walgreens nor the Dollar General if possible. They are very bad at their pickups. That's in their instructions. So this here was Signing Service of America. Theirs is one of the longest ones. This is how they want you to introduce yourself. Maybe, maybe not. That's not how I would introduce myself, but and all that. Printing of the documents. Let me zoom this in a little bit more. Printing of the documents. It is a requirement to print the loan documents, the signers on the proper size, this, that, and the other, letter size on letter, legal size on legal. If you do not have a dual tray and cannot accommodate, let them know. Notarizing the documents. With all documents, your notary stamp must be clear and legible. Any illegible stamps will be rejected, and a loose acknowledgement will be needed to be added. Be sure to review the documents before leaving. Please send us a copy of the borrower's IDs back with the documents. So this one, they want a copy of the IDs back with the documents. Talks about the funding. Funds due at closing. In Virginia, we can't collect funds. Okay. They talk about a binder clip. Docs must be done in blue ink. Shipping of the docs. All of that. Okay. Go back over here. And that's it for those instructions off of signing order. All right. So now let me show y'all some instructions off of Snapdocs. Okay. Let me show y'all instructions off of Snapdocs. Okay. From various different companies. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Now, I'm going to just go ahead on and pop your bubble right now. So far, out of those three sets of instructions and the ones you're about to see, the one thing you have not seen and you will not see in these here is them telling you how to do your job for us, executing the document for us, them signing. In other words, you won't see anything in here saying that the notary has to explain or guide them through, have to go down and articulate stuff on the CD and point out stuff. They're telling us to do everything else except for that. That's the thing. They're telling us to do everything except for that. So these are actual instructions. So it says here, refinancing closing instructions. Closing must be confirmed 2 hours of, once you get it assigned. Please immediately contact the borrower. Contact somebody if you got questions. The notary is not authorized to reschedule the closing without the permission of whoever this company is. Use blue ink for borrowers for the borrowers to sign the documents unless otherwise directed. I need this one. If the order type is a full refinance, oops, sorry about that, and you do not receive the promissory note or the deed of trust in the package, let them know. Please upload scan backs of the entire package within 6 hours of the signing. So you got some time. That means you can go and do your other closings and all that kind of stuff. But it said what? The entire package. There are notaries who are just scanning back the signed page. There are notaries who are just scanning back the deed and the note and the CD. There are notaries who are just scanning back notarized documents, the ones that just got notarized. They want everything scanned. It goes on and says here what? Include all signers' valid government issue IDs. If funds are due from the borrower, this, that, and the other. Notifies within 2 hours of being assigned if the order. If you have not been able to confirm the appointment, our goal here is 0 errors in the signing. However, we know that is not always achievable. Please remain in communication with us post-closing to assist in resolving any errors made on the paperwork. So that means if they call you, you need to answer your phone. If they email you, you need to respond back. Using cutout documents could result in a decreased fee, so you got to make sure the documents are printed properly. Oops. I was all the way at the bottom. Then this one, okay. Then this is a different set, another company. All right. So are there witnesses required? No. Always go to the signing, even if not confirmed. So sometimes they want you to go whether it's confirmed or not. If you have documents and there is a signing time, okay? If you are going to be late, let somebody know, or you can't accommodate the signing time. Scan backs are required immediately after signing an appointment. Please make sure scan backs are good, clean, this, that, and the other. No cutoffs with the scans. Scan in multiple files that are not too big to open. Must be in PDF, except for the IDs. You have to do, my IDs are in PDF, but you don't have to be. Check to make sure nothing's missing. Make sure scanned documents are under 25 megabytes. Scan, check your scans to make sure all pages got uploaded. Talks about a personal check. Make sure you read through the signing agent requirements of the loan packet. Make sure you complete the notarization, errors and complete notarization section on the E&O and compliance agreement. Notaries are getting this document signed and not notarizing it. If it's a VA loan, the report and certification of disbursement, the document section right above the signature of the voluntary thing has to be checked. Signature names, affidavits from the lender must all be signed as is without any cross outs or cross through any names. They got the names from the credit report. Now there's some trainers out there that will tell you that the signature affidavit, the names on that does not come from the credit report. But everywhere I've seen it, all say that the names come off the credit report. The name, all these different ways that they see their name comes from the credit report when they run the credit report. And even today at the closing, that's what the title person told the signers. The name affidavit is the names that we found when we did the credit, that was pulled from the credit report. Doesn't matter who pulled the credit report. Because some of the trainers get caught up in, well, the title didn't pull the credit report. It don't matter who pulled the credit report. The names on that signature affidavit comes from the credit report. And it says it right there. Lender will reject this document if it's, stuff is done to it. And it says, I take out the critical documents and add them to the front, but only put them back if instructed. I put the disbursement at the end of any of the forms they need to fill out. Not a problem. I mean, just remember, you got to follow instruction. Oh, also, like somebody commented today that they pre-fill out the dates. You better make sure that that's not that the signing company, not the signing, but the title company and the lender wants you to do that. Because some people are actually, they'll sit there and they will fill in the dates for the signers. There are companies out there that they want the signers to do it all, because that's not the signers doing it of their own free will. You doing it for them without the permission of the signing company, because that is not your job to do any signature. See, the date is a part of the signature. Let me come back to y'all real quick. You have to understand the date is a part of the signature, sign and date. And you dating for them is not them dating for them, for themselves. And that could be considered you coercing them into doing something that they, may not do, because they're like, well, I didn't date this. Somebody else did. That's not my handwriting. So I know people want to get through these things quick, but I never predate the stuff for the customer. When it's on their signature line. Now, if it's a little date thing above, like, hey, such and such document hereby done on this date, okay, yeah, I can do that. But if it's their signature line, John Aloysius date, I don't date that. And there are companies, and that's one of the things I was trying to find. I couldn't. There were some companies, they do not accept that. They have to date it. They don't accept you pre-printing, meaning going in a hand, typing it in on the PDF. They don't accept that either. So you got to read your instructions and make sure that what you're doing is allowed by them. Now, there have been times that I've come across a signer who has really bad time, has a really hard time writing the date legibly. When that happens, and see, I'm paying attention to them when they sign the notary logbook. I actually watch them. And if I see the person struggling, I will ask them, say, can you write today's date? And they'll write the date. And I can see that, oh, that's not going to be legible enough. And that's the best they can do for whatever reason. I will take a picture of it, just the date, and I will send it to the signing company and say, I want to ask your permission to date for them, because this is what their date looks like. And if the title company will accept this, then we good. If they say no, that's not legible enough, then I need permission to have either their spouse date for them, or will you allow me to date for them? But I get permission. I don't just insert that in there just so I can get the closing done quicker. All right, what my man? No, the training isn't for Virginia, just for Virginia. Now, I should have said that it's for everybody. I've been notary certificates has nothing to do with just Virginia. It's for everybody. Okay, it's for everybody. I'm teaching notary certificate just like they teach y'all all this other stuff. These other TMCs, they out there training y'all on all this other stuff. It's not state specific. Okay, I'm teaching you notarial certificates. Now, if you have notarial certificates that are specific for your state that you need help understanding, hey, bring them. Tell me what state you're in, and we'll deal with that too. That's why the training is at least 3 hours. Okay, minimum 3 hours. We deal with everything. Okay, so my man Caprina said, in my experience, the only time I've been allowed to date for the borrowers is during correct reverse mortgage, but that's at the table, not done ahead of time. Correct. They care more for it to be neat than by the revert. Yep, correct. Wow, shame on those dating. That's what some of them, that is a big no-no. There are notaries, they don't realize that. And this kind of stuff gets taught out there. Date for them. Go ahead on and open up, case in point. This is what they're telling notaries to do. Okay, so go in here and click on edit, and then down here, you click on text, and then what you're gonna do is February, and we'll put tomorrow's date down, 7/2026. That's what they're telling notaries to do. They're telling them to do this on the date line, and we're not supposed to. So if they're not handwriting it in, they're typing it in, and you have to get permission, because in some cases you typing it in, they can consider that the document being modified. That's just the truth of the matter. And Denise Day, yep, she took the training. Yep, the training is awesome. I'm telling you, it is not for it's not for just Virginia, it's for all 50 states. And of course, like you, I've gotten approved. Yeah, the date for them. Okay, you out there in Texas. A lot of people from Texas take the training. If you do not understand notarial certificates, and I probably need to say it more and more, I thought people would not, and this is no slight at you. There was other people that, I don't know, they was like thinking that it's only for Virginia. And I've never said that this is just for Virginia. This is for everybody, no matter what. If you're trying to do your job, you got to understand the notarial certificates. If you don't understand them, um, you're going, no matter how much you follow these instructions here, if you don't know how to do your job as a notary, all of this is mute. So then here's another set. Okay. So this is talking about the office hours. If there are two labels in the loan pack, please use the one for Powerhouse, not the one for Rocket Mortgage. There are instructions. There is an instructional PDF attached. So this reviews non-borrowing spouse requirements, commonly missed documents. Please take a moment and review it. Title specific instructions. If any questions arise at the table, reach out to them. Examples of issues you must call for: a signer not present, expired IDs, names not matching on IDs, refusal to sign any of the documents, or any other issue that may impact you or the signer. Call them. The lender and title. So this here is the for the most part the signing company, but just the title. But then it says the lender and title specific instruction. Print the package according to the mixed sizes. That means letter, and legal. If you have a dual tray, if not, print all legal size. So now you have permission to print what? All legal size. You read the instructions, you find out. Do not print all letter. Print all documents uploaded and keep in order received. Print a borrower's copy. Collect and upload a valid ID. Must be signed in blue. Do you know there are notaries who will not use blue ink for whatever reason? Make same day drop. Patriot Act must be filled out and signed by the notary, not the signer. Not the signer. Not the person who's you're meeting with. That is your responsibility. Then it talks about the loan application, what you're supposed to do there. But if you are paying attention, there's nothing in here that's saying when you're doing a real estate closing, a refinance, a purchase, or a sale, you need to walk them through the documents and point out different things inside of the loan documents. You don't even talk about, the who and not the what and the where and not the why and all that stuff. Then this one here, there's a legal firm. This is the signing company. I like them. I do a lot with them on Snapdocs. And the law firm that they have is not that far from my house, so I can actually take the documents directly to the signer. To the law firm afterwards. Don't even have to ship. Still got to scan, but I don't have to ship. So it says here, letter size, black ink, borrower's ID, save the rainforest. So here they're saying, avoid printing a second unsigned copy. Our client provides a quality digital executed copy. So with them, you do not have to print a second copy. Now, a lot of theirs are small packages. I'll be honest with you, I print it anyway. I may not give it to the customer, but if the package is small, I will print it anyway just to be on the safe side. I get what they're saying, but sometimes the signers will mess things up pretty bad to where you need to replace the doc. So I rather do that. All documents must be signed in black to meet our funding requirements. Not a problem. I don't even care if you told me that. But if you said black, that's what I'm doing. Then it says professional standards. Prepare thoroughly, download, review the document before leaving, come on time, dress professionally, take photo IDs and include them in your scan backs or uploads. If you're unsure about anything, call us. Do not guess or provide legal advice under any circumstance. Be polite, friendly, professional. After the appointment, oh, we already at the after, and they didn't tell us to go carry them through the CD. These people are taking care of that kind of stuff ahead of time. What's going on now? Oh man, why am I sinuses? Yep, I had to use my spare to replace a couple of mistakes. Yep. So it goes on and says completion report, corrections, wait for approval in big bold letters, communication, contact us immediately if you encounter any challenges or if any of the conditions above cannot be met. We are here to assist. All of that. So these instructions, this is dealing with over public title. Docs must be printed on the original size, letter and legal. Docs cannot be shrunk to fit letter size. Must print 2 copies of docs to leave and leave one with the signer. No after-hour drop boxes. If you're doing Ron, all of that information. And we covered these here. Now, my question is this: what don't you understand? There's nothing in any of the instructions that is telling you in any way, shape, or form to have the CD. Hold on. In this case, this is alter statement, one that I've done tonight, for you to take the alter statement and to walk them through this. Where does it say that in the instructions from the people who paying you? No, the people who paying you, they need you to do what? Signature, date, initial if need be. You do the notarization, and then you're out. But you sitting there for 2 hours with the people trying to break things down. I had 7 appointments today. Had 8, but I had to let the general notary one go. I had 7 appointments today. There was no time to explain documents and all of that kind of stuff. The people themselves was like, hey, we good. We just need to sign. And I was like, if you good, I'm good. I said, no problem whatsoever. No problem at all. So, I mean, again, this here, over here, this is my schedule today. It has 7 appointments. Like I said, I got 1 tomorrow. And then the training right here. 7. Started at 8 through 6 o'clock. And 2 of them was back to back. 10, then 11, and then a 5, then a 6. There was no time for me to do all that other stuff that everybody else says to do. So this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, is that you really need to think about what the role of a notary is. And if you are afraid that if you don't do what these people you paid told you to do, and you have no verifiable proof that the people who are paying you to do the notary work wants you to do what the trainer you paid said, you're going to have to figure something out. I mean, you really, really do. And I was in that same dilemma. And there's no way I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Because I did I let the G&W go. So 24 closings this week. 24 in 1 week. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And all that comes out to, and that's in 6 days, 24 divided by 6, basically 4 days. So now the question is, do you have what it takes to do at least 4 a day? Do you have the time to do 4 a day on average? Work 6 days a week, do 4 a day. Do you have it in you to do that? I think you do. But how do you get there? And it takes one step at a time. The first thing is having confidence in doing your job as a notary. When you have confidence in that, you can knock out everything else. If you don't have confidence in doing your job as a notary, once you understand what your job is, then how can you proceed forward? How can you take on multiple closings? Even if you had an 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock, spaced out very, very well, but psychologically, you really don't know what you're doing, you're going to have problems. You're going to struggle. So I'm trying to encourage y'all to understand and learn this business, and then to challenge people who try to call themselves teaching you stuff in the business, and you really can't verify what they're saying. Don't get caught up in the hype, y'all. It's not that hard. It's a very simple and easy business. But because of fear, this is why a lot of people do, this is why a lot of y'all are stuck in these training courses, because of fear. And it's comfortable to sit there and get trained all day because you're not really doing anything for us, the notary, but it makes you feel like you are because you're in this training. I'm learning. Yeah, I'm getting this and I'm getting that. What I figured out in life is this: whenever you are uneducated in something, when somebody is teaching you about what you're uneducated in, it makes you feel so special and so good. And it's like, wow, I'm learning a lot. And the and that and you're right, you are learning a lot, but it doesn't mean that you're learning what you're supposed to learn to be successful. And I had to figure that out for myself. What do I need to know in order to be successful? Not just in the notary business, but in anything. What do I need to know to be successful as a father, as a husband? I'm sorry, as a husband, then a father, for us more traditional people. Just being real with you, how I feel. As a husband, as a father, what do I need to learn in order to be a friend? I have to figure out what those things are and then execute them. Whatever you don't know, you got to learn it and then execute it. And the problem is that many of you are learning things, and I'll be honest, not everything you're learning is bad, but the problem is that you're not executing it, or when you do execute it, you're a day late and a dollar short. You gotta, as the saying goes, you gotta strike while the iron is hot, so that way you can shape things into what you need them to be. For a lot of you, you won't even take the first swing, and you wait till the thing is cold, and once the iron gets cold, it's not going to bend in shape in the way you want it to be. It's like, okay, now you got to reheat it, and then if you keep reheating it, it makes it more and more brittle. So you got to get to a point of actually getting out here and doing it. And once I decided to do it, and that's no matter what the business is, once I decided to apply for a job, once I decided to do it, then things started working for me. But as long as I sat back, as long as I was wishing and a hoping and a praying, ain't nothing really popped for me. Action made it pop. And what I'm here dedicated to do for y'all is to help you get into the action mode. And the number one thing that I found that is hope that is really messing people up and keeping them from getting into the action mode is that no matter how uneducated you are about the notary business, there's a part of you that know I'm supposed to know something and no one is teaching it to me. And many of you will not move forward until you get that taught. And the number one thing that I found that it is dealing with the notarial certificates. But the people that I've worked with, and for my concern, everybody who has been given opportunity and they understand notary certificates, they're doing fine in the business. They're growing and they're moving forward. I want that for you. The notary certificate training is for anybody in any state, point blank, period. And I'm primarily the only one who's really teaching it in a dedicated way. And I've done closings face to face. If you look at my playlist called Notary Success System, you'll see that I was doing this face to face. Spent a year developing my face to face program. Spent a year, and not talking about at concurrent, together. I'm talking about one behind the other. I spent a year figuring out how to teach this online. Once I felt comfortable with it, then I launched it last year. And people have been getting help and it's doing great. So I am completely excited about this. But as you see, the notary certificates, the notary instructions, none of them are even talking about, from my understanding, too much of what the trainers are teaching you at all. It says, thanks, Griff. I had an offer to do a trailing docs and I wasn't sure about signing, so I turned it down. Can you explain what that is? Okay, trailing docs. I'm glad you asked that question. Trailing docs is just documents that need to be dealt with for whatever reason. They could have initially had the wrong account number on them and they need that document re-signed. It could have had the name improper on it. It could have not got notarized properly. Anything like that. It could have been any of that kind of stuff. Okay. It's just a document that might have gotten forgotten from the original and they need it done. And they're asking somebody to go do it. That's it. So one of the things that I've tried to teach people, I teach people, and I ask y'all to do, and this is not me fussing at you, because every time I say stuff like this, people think I'm fussing at you. I'm not fussing. I'm just okay. I gotta log in again. Guess it's with this account. I had to log into my DeepSeek AI account. Okay, cool. So let me show you. So here's how I figured things out. One of the things, just now, this is before I was doing it in Google, but let's just say I've never done this with this statement here that you just said. Okay, so please explain what are trailing documents with regards to a real estate closing. It's in the description of this video, notarycertificate.training. So in the video, underneath the title, when you see the title, it might say more. So click on the more button, and then it'll open up and show you. It'll be a little description thing in there and all that. So right here, this is how you find out stuff. So ask a question like you would anybody else. Please explain what are trailing documents with regards to a real estate closing. Trailing documents is a common and important term in a real estate closing. Let me close that. Trailing documents are the final critical piece of the paperwork that are signed and finalized after the main closing event has occurred. The closing itself is considered complete, but a few documents remain outstanding, must be trailed in, completed, and delivered to formally wrap up the transaction. Common example, lender required documents, final insurance binder, signed loan application updates, explanation of credit report inquiries, proof of source fundings, title documents that could be dealing with, correct the deed or mortgage, updated closing disclosure, power of attorney for documentation, post closing items, well and septic, final receipt, homeowner association. Key points: they do not prevent the closing. The presence of trailing docs means the closing proceeds. The closing proceeds on time. The alternative would be to delay the closing. They are legally binding. The commitment to provide trailing docs is formalized. Responsibility and clear. They said they are a normal part of the process. While not ideal, trailing docs are extremely common, especially in fast-paced markets and complex transactions. Who handles them? The title company, all of that. Identify what documents are missing, create a list, and get the commitments of the parties, collect the documents, forward them to a lender, this, that, and the other. So that is what a trailing document is. Did you find them? Did you find the link in the thingamadeal in the description of this video? Hold on one brief moment. So down here, the more, and it takes you right there. Click on that. Click there. Select the date, the time. So let's say that. Fill that out. Hit continue, and then it takes you to the payment page. I did one which needed changes to a power of attorney. Yeah. Trailing documents are a good way for you to get recognized, seen, noticed by the title company as well as the signing company. They don't pay a whole lot, $20, $50, because, and the reason why some people don't, two reasons why people don't do trailing docs. One, they don't understand what they are. Two, they don't like the price. And sometimes the distance where you got to go can be out there. The thing is, if you're gonna charge them $200 for trailing docs, then that means you're charging them at least $1,000 to do a closing. Sometimes they just give you. Sometimes it's $50. They just pay you $50. Go get this one document done, or this one set of documents that got 4 or 5 pages, 2 signatures. But you just show them that you know how to follow directions and get the job done. That's one way that sometimes these companies, I use the word, but I don't say that they're saying that they're doing it, test you or check you out. And if you're constantly turning down trailing docs, but you want to be put on the big documents, on a full refinance closing, and you haven't had any work done, that you haven't shown them any proof that you know what the heck you're doing or can at least follow directions, no, I'm not going to give you a shot unless I have to. Because I've already given you a shot by the trailing docs, giving you opportunity, and you keep turning them down, or you keep asking for all this higher fees. You ain't got time for that. So I cut my teeth on just doing them. I just do them. Paying you $30, $35, and needed to rechange, and they came back. Cool. Florida. It said my payment. Okay, nope, my bad. Here's other one. This one, yeah, $50. More than likely, probably either from coast to coast or first class or sunshine, something like that. They tend to seem like they always got trailing docks and stuff and all of that. So if I can do them, I will. I will do them. I did one this early yesterday. $50. Went over there, one signature. Got in, got out, made a quick 50. That's what I do. I'm working on volume. I'm working on volume. The more I do, the more my name gets out there, the more people appreciate me, the more people recognize my work, which then they will understand my worth or recognize my worth, and I will get paid accordingly. And to me, getting paid accordingly doesn't always mean a higher fee. It may mean more work. While a lot of people are looking for the higher fees, I'm looking for the more work. Because if I can do more work for you, and then you are expanding what you do. So here you are. If I can do a lot of work within that confines, and then as you expand, guess what? I expand with you. But what you're trying to do is compete with them and trying to get the same amount of money as them. And they're like, nah, that's not going to work. So while you're trying to elevate over them instead of grow with them, see, I'm growing with the companies. And y'all know in a relationship, the people who grow with you are the ones you stick with the more. Because you stick with the longer and you stick with the most. But when people try to elevate themselves over you, that becomes a problem. So I look to work with people, not to try to elevate myself over them. That's not who I am. I will work with you. That's why I gave the order up. I knew I couldn't. Well, got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a hard time getting this done. I'm going to give the order over to another notary. I'm gonna work with them, and then she'll be taking care of it. And she was very appreciative of that. And I was like, hey, no problem. So you have to look to grow with these companies, not try to elevate yourself over them as if you're some ultra god like notary that they are just supposed to be worshiping. Ooh. No. Are you growing with me? Because the moment that company sees that they got a good core set of notaries that can be there for them, then they can confidently expand out and start trying to get more work. It may not pay higher fees, but if it's more consistent, that's what matters. And that's what I go for. And that has been the formula for me. It was a good experience. Thanks for explaining because I didn't understand what it was. Always good to get the experience. Yep. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go check on the wife. See if she needs some help washing these dishes. And then I gotta get some stuff together for tomorrow first before I go to bed, for the training. But look in the description, notary certificate, dot training is the site. I did have it. Yeah. Notary certificate dot training. Go there. If you want to take the training, if not this weekend, you can do, if not tomorrow, you can do Sunday. If not this weekend, you can do next week. Right now, I'm looking to do twice a month, 2 weekends back to back. If I can squeeze in, another time frame, then I will. But right now, we're looking at the 7th and the 8th, then the 14th and 15th. And yeah, look like I got that on there twice. I have to take that off. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened. All right, must have been tired when I was putting it on. But nonetheless, people see it. All right, y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. And again, thank you for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. You got any comments or questions that you want to ask, just drop them down there and I'll hop on it. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.